What's up guys, Cloudie here, checking in from the America server. And while I'm dying here and not really making any progress with any of the videos I wanted to release this week, I thought that the sneak peek into the patch notes for next week would be a good excuse to stop studying for a while and just rest a little bit. So I was going into that and looking at what we're gonna get, and to my sad surprise, they literally only said that we are getting Hilda and her story dungeon. So this would have been a really short video, but we also received the development of Hilda post from GM Dakaris, so we can find out some stuff about her. Let's just go through that. So let's see how they have created this hero, what she's on about, and what we can know for now. So as we already know, Chapter 10, which will be coming out in 2 weeks, should be on the 25th, I think, is about the Technomagic Kingdom, and a lot of stories will be tied together here, and Hilda will be in the center of it. Now, what we'll learn about it, that she's like the sole remaining guardian of this ruined kingdom, and this pretty much puts an imprint on her characteristics too. So she's this very solemn, not really emotional character. At least that's how they describe her. And they say that during the development, originally they thought to make her like similar to Kara, to be a golem. I didn't know Kara was a golem actually, but then they dropped that idea and made her a human instead, who was created from some sort of transcendent DNA. So they say that the technomagy synthesized the DNA of other transcendents to drive out the goddesses from the technomagic kingdom and create a new divine being. Now the transcendents are mentioned in the story a few times, I believe, but not that much and not too well described, I believe. As far as I remember, all the world bosses are transcendents, and like the being in Theo's unique weapon, and I think also inside Sonya is one of them. So it seems like Hilda is an artificial transcendent who was imprinted with the same controlling mark that we also can see on Chase, and she didn't really have any kind of much of a personality. She wasn't treated as a person, but more like a tool that was to be used as a weapon. But then the last king of the Technomagic Kingdom, Siegfried, told her that she is a person and treated her as a human, and of course she's very happy for that and learns to have emotions and stuff like that. Now, a lot of people have pointed out that this sounds much like the story of a certain anime called Violet Evergarden, and it's funny because in that show the character has mechanical arms, and in some point in this description the GM Dakaris says that it would be easier if the hand or the arm of the character would be robotic, which is, I wonder if it's a coincidence or not. But yeah, on top of this, it seems that they, for this Technomagic Kingdom, they are kind of going to the Norse mythology kind of thing. They mention Brunhild here, so that was her designation, and that she's a Valkyrie, and also the king is called Siegfried. So these are all Germanic, Nordic names, and then the Valkyrie, of course, is part of Norse mythology. Now I'm kind of wondering whether they are actually gonna take part or parts from Norse mythology and put it into the story, or they are just gonna be like, yeah, let's just use some Germanic sounding names and then we are done with it. Woohoo! I guess we get to find out. But okay, we can see that the initial design for Hilda was to be like blonde hair, blue eye, of course, the Nordic subtype of people, and then they wanted her to be this tragic, quiet heroine, and then we can see some concept arts for her, which look pretty nice. I think it reminds me a little bit of Crow, actually, especially this one. This looks like Crow in a female version. He has the exact same costume. And then here are her weapons that they planned for her, and then some additional versions of her clothing. I think some of these are pretty nice, and would be great if we got them either as costumes or if they were like 3-star, 4-star, 5-star options, then you could choose which one you like the most. But probably we will be going with the same trend that she starts as a 5-star already. Then they have also tried a bunch of hairstyles. They wanted to not have bangs for a change, but then didn't quite like the result, so they went with option 1, which we have now. So yeah, and this is how she looks like now. Yeah, we need to see her panties, of course, and this is really funny, and I'm So they say that because she's a magic warrior class hero, or a warrior class hero who will be magic, we would think that she would need to wear armor, but no, because he has mana and the physical abilities of her transcendent, so she can have cloth armor, which has the silhouette of body armor. Translated to plain English, they wanted to show us stockings, panties, and boobs, and you can see the result, guys. Cutout skirt in the front, which is just, and if you have seen the Sean's video, you could see some animations from her, and of course she's joining the panty club, where you can see all the panty shots from her, which is I'm kind of torn about it. I know a lot of people like that, and like, but still, it's not battle armor. Why can't we have characters sometimes that are dressed properly and are actually wearing armor? It would have been so nice, Vespa, just once for a change, but yeah, whatever. Alright, so yeah, her main color is purple, and the designs of her clothes are going with the colors and schemes of the Technomagic Kingdom, and these are her expressions based on if she's with normal people or if she's with Siegfried, for whom she has, I guess, feelings. You can see this later on too. Now, her weapon designs are pretty interesting. I really like this A version, and later on they thought that she could add some third force field kind of magic blade to her actual weapon, but then they dropped that idea. But still, these designs are pretty nice. Some of them I really dig. And then this is the final iteration. I think this is her normal weapon, and this would be her unique weapon. I think I like the unique weapon more. It kind of goes with her clothes better. Yeah. And then for the concept art, they had a few versions, and then they ended up with this. They wanted this stern, solemn look for her. Now, I don't know, guys, for me this seems like the proportions of her legs are like a little bit off. Like, this is still her leg, like, and then her skirt is just this long, so what the hell? This seems a little out of proportion, maybe? And I can't quite place these boots. Like, her feet look kind of big, I think, and I'm not sure why the boot isn't tight. How are you gonna fight in that? But I guess I should be happy that it's not stiletto heels, because as we had, for instance, with Scarlet. So I'm a bit torn on her design. I wanna like her, and I like some of the color schemes, but I think they went a bit too far with trying to please, you know, the people who like to see her panties. But okay, yeah, this is her in-game model. Looks a little bit better, and these are her face expressions. They also talk about her hair, and then we can see her motions. And so yeah, they have also shared her acquisition animation and transcendence animation. Let's just look at that real quick. Now they say that she is this cold, solemn personality, so I'm not quite sure about some of these motions that she does after the battle. And yeah, the untied boots are really tilting me, to be honest. But okay, let's see. So she defeats the monster and then does this head tip kind of thing, and then the air punch, like we were looking at Cloud's drive or something. I don't really think that fits the personality that they described there. I don't know. I think it's too flashy. At one point, actually, they do say that they wanted her moves to be flashy, and I'm like, yeah, with that skirt, you really made that happen. And this would be Siegfried, I guess. Oh, poor girl. But again, I thought we could have had a stronger personality girl kind of in the game.
You gave me a reason to live. What am I supposed to live for in a world without you?
Ah, poor Hilda. They did say that her story is not a happy one. So yeah, let's move on to her skill effects and what we know about her. So they wanted to describe it with like void and divinity, so they used white as the main color for her effects. You can see it here. But then they are like, yeah, too much white tires the eyes, so they changed some things here and that did like these current-like effects. It does look pretty cool, but a side note here, yes, white does tire the eyes. Can we please remove all the flashing from the game and just not have people have seizures from it, because it really tilts me sometimes. I know I'm complaining a lot in this video, guys, it's just sometimes I really do not get them. But yeah, so that would also be cool, and I wish Vespa would actually make that happen. Now let's see how she actually looks like in battle. So she's a magic warrior type, and so after using a skill, she enters a certain state in which the size of her weapon increases. I guess this is the change. I'm not quite sure if the range of her skills increases, and during these times she cannot use any other skills and continuously consumes mana, and when all her mana runs out, she is leaving that kind of state. So it's kind of like and she also has higher mana regeneration, so this kind of feels like she is like an amalgamation of Theo and Chase and maybe Lilia, I don't know. So it's kind of like that. It will be interesting. I wouldn't go out farm new gear for her right after her release, because remember, 1 week after we are getting chapter 10 and the new items, and maybe there will be something that make her even more OP or that will work with this kind of manic. So I would wait for that. Now they also say that her depth penetration changes according to the maximum amount of mana that she has, and they suggest here that she will be good in Trial of Earth. Because you cannot shred there, so Death Pen is good there, this is true, if you can keep her mana high. And if her mana goes to maximum, she enters this Void Frenzy state, where her depth penetration will be fixed at a very high amount. So it seems like the tactic with her will be that you get to max mana, enter this Void Frenzy state, and maybe then activate her skill that will do a lot of damage. So this does sound a lot like Theo to me. And all her attacks will ignore block, making her useful in the arena as well. Okay. Well, that seems like an anti-wall, anti-bruiser kind of character. I mean, it could be good, it could be bad. I guess it depends what kind of stuff she can do. Just because she ignores block doesn't mean that she will be actually good in PvP or anything. But also this suggests that chapter 10 monsters might have very high defense. Remember that they said that they want to make her good at both the new raid and at chapter 10. So it might be the advent of penetration again, as it was with chapter 6 a very, very long time ago. Yeah, and then we have some more. Her story dungeon will tell how some of what has happened in her past, what has happened in the Technomagic Kingdom. And yeah, this does look like Proteanus, who is one of the Ascendants as far as I remember. So yeah, could be that we learn more about this. They also mention here that they advise people to read up some of the rules of the world and the Technomagic Kingdom and goddesses and stuff like that. Would have been nice if they actually just made a snippet out of that, or just like collected that for us, because it's really hard to find these kind of things sometimes. I'm not even sure which stories mention these, where for instance who the Transcendents were, and I don't think it was ever really explained, unless it was like in somewhere described that I didn't read. But I think I should remember if I have read it. So yeah, we'll see. The animations do look pretty nice. I hope she turns out fun. Some of her stuff is a little bit so-so to me, because I would have liked to see a more armored character. Like Siegfried actually is wearing armor. Why couldn't she wear armor? That would have been so nice in my opinion. But yeah, I hope her story will be good. They suggest that this is not a happy chappy story, and I found Vespa is actually really good at writing those. So those that are written with that mindset by them is usually quite a bit better than their usually happy stories. So I'm looking forward to it. We are getting her for free, so definitely gonna try her out. I hope she isn't like super meta right off the bat and just disrupting the game too bad, but I also hope that she will be nice and useful in at least a few contents. So let me guys what you think. Let me guys which one you would like to use. I really would like either of these actually. I could just switch around and use some of these. But yeah, okay. So that's been it for today. Cloudie back to studying, and hopefully back with more videos later on this week. Until then, see you in the next one. Bye bye.